Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Friday Business Intelligence Tip. This is Rich Bendickson from Dashboard Gear, and today we're going to be talking about a topic not so much on how to do something, but more show you that you can do something. I get asked often as I approach reporting engagements around ways to organize files and information. So perhaps an accounting department wants to put together a number of reports and spreadsheets and PowerPoints related to like a month-end process, or an HR department around a board reporting package. Now, often those are more than just SQL reporting services reports. So what most people are doing is setting up network shares and folders and giving people access to that and going through there, which works fine, except for it's not quite as easy to get to and organize and see what's there. So what I'm going to show you today is a solution more around how we've put together the different examples for some people around how to get at that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my SQL reporting services screen. Now, some of you have seen my past sessions where I've used Report Manager here to create things like folders. So I created a folder called Webinar, for example, and I publish reports in here. Now, these folders don't have to have just reports. They can have any other kind of document you want. So let's say I wanted to add spreadsheets in here. I would go to the Upload tab and then pick my spreadsheet that I want to publish. So I just have a simple spreadsheet out here called Sample 2. And if I go ahead and say Open, it publishes out here as Sample 2. Now, the nice thing about that is all of these can be managed as far as what's there by giving them names, who can get at it, and so forth from the normal SQL reporting services list. So if you wanted to give people access to that spreadsheet, you can publish it out here and then list their user ID in there who can see that. The other thing that's nice about it is once it's in here, it is making a copy of that spreadsheet and storing it in the SQL Server repository. So then when people click on it, it's actually opening it up out of that repository and putting it out, opening it up. So if it opened up over here on my other screen. So I have a copy of that spreadsheet. So you're able to launch it from there. Now, it doesn't just have to be spreadsheets. It can be any old file. You happen to notice I had like a PDF in here. If you want to do PDFs or Word docs or any of that, those will show up out here as additional resources. So it creates a separate folder for Excel files, but it'll put resources here. And there again, if you click on the resources, it will, open up that PDF just like it's any other document that's there. So you can go to those folders, access the data that's in those folders, just like you would any other resource that's out there. So I'm going to go back to my webinar folder here, and it'll just take a second to get back there. And now the other thing I wanted to show you is you can add as many of these Excel workbooks. You can give them a, there was a title, it was sample. And if you want to do a more extravagant description, you could, say my accounting spreadsheet or whatever information you wanted to put on that file. So if I go back here to the folder for that, and as I go in here, you're going to see different content for that. So it'll open up just like that's there. Now, if you wanted to look at this in a listing style rather than by folder, this little drop down that's up here right now is showing me that I'm looking at tile mode. If instead I want to look at it in a list style mode, you can do that. And this looks more like the traditional file folder kind of concept. I typically don't use this, but if you have a lot of information, this is a good way to kind of go through it, and it allows you to kind of search and so forth. I suggest trying to create a naming convention that makes sense for you to get at that, but to tile one that's there. And if you do want to hide things, so let's say you put information out there that maybe you only want administrators to know about, if I go under manage here, there's a little option to hide this item. And if I go ahead and I hide that item and apply that, if I go back to this webinar, it's hidden in there, but administrators can go ahead and say, show the hidden items, and you'll see it here and you can launch it. It just has a little bit different font to it. So just by using standard Report Manager, you're able to, create the folders that you need, put the content in, whether it's SQL reporting services or not, and share that with the appropriate users. Hopefully you found today's tip useful and that you can use this as a good file sharing mechanism. Not quite as industrial strength as like SharePoint or something like that, but definitely better than a standard network file share. So thank you for attending today's session, and we look forward to talking with you again next Friday.